All right, here we go. Brand new Flyers Daily for the 10th of October, 2024. Flyers Daily, as always, presented by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live. This is the last day. Today's the last day of the offseason. I remember counting backwards, 125 days till the Flyers drop the puck on October 11th on the 2024-2025 season. Well, tomorrow that is the day. We'll have to wait a little longer because it's 10 o'clock at night, and I get it's not ideal for a lot of people for the team to start out on a West Coast trip for 10 o'clock games, but I will say that is probably preferable for the organization to get one of those West Coast trips and the Alberta part of the trip out of the way without having anything in front of it. But I digress. All right, here's what we're going to do in this episode. First and foremost, we're going to get to Scott Laughton in just a couple of minutes. I had a chance to catch up with Scott Laughton before the team flew out to Vancouver to get ready for tomorrow night's game. Had a chance to hang with them in the locker room and tape a little conversation. We'll hear that. And then we're going to come back and we're going to go through my end-of-year awards predictions. Now, what I do is I take the NHL awards and I just apply them to the Flyers. So like the Hart Trophy for the Flyers will be the team's MVP. The Selke will be the most responsible forward, two-way forward. The Norris will be the top defenseman, and on down the line. And we'll talk about most improved and those kind of things as well. And then we're going to give a little prognostication prediction on if the Flyers will be a playoff team. As we sit here, again, this is on October 10th. I'll give you my expectation as of now for the Flyers, for the division, for the conference, for the league and the cup. But I reserve the right to be able to change that prediction if we get more information. So with that being said, we'll get to all that in this episode. But first and foremost, let's get to the Flyers' alternate captain. Scott Laughton, very important piece in this team on and off the ice. Now, he may be a fourth-line player, but what he brings to the PK and obviously to the culture is something that may be a bit more immeasurable. So here's my conversation with Flyers forward Scott Laughton. It is Flyers, training camp's over, but we're with Flyers forward Scott Laughton. How do you feel like your camp went? Did you get kind of your game where you needed to get? You've been through enough of these by now. I'm sure you sharpened your approach.
Yeah, trying to get the timing down. I think that's probably the biggest thing is timing and filling the space out there. So long layoff again here, but we'll be ready. I know we've been practicing hard, getting ready for what's to come, and I know guys are hungry and excited, so it's a good time.
When you're at this time, 82 in front of you, you know the grinds of an NHL season. You've been there, done that, gone through it, but there is an excitement that comes with what's in front of you. Is that how you look at it?
Yeah, it's a fresh start. I think everyone starts at the same point. It's exciting. It's exciting for our group to try and take that next step and see where it takes us.
You're sick and tired of the long summers, and I know the last one was one that bit a little bit, had a little sting to it. Do you use that going into the season? Is there any messaging? You're part of the leadership group to, not take any nights off because every point will matter.
I think guys have come in and have been really prepared. I think guys have matured. Everyone's come in really good shape, and now it's time to hit the ground running. So, it still stings, I think, but it's in the past now. It's a fresh start. We got a new team. Urs looks great in net, and we're excited to get going.
When you talk about the leadership, this room really came together last year, and maybe that's a little bit easier when you have the start that you guys had last year, because belief can build on that really quickly. But establishing an identity, I don't know if that travels year to year. You guys got to start establishing that game one.
Yeah, I think the accountability of what to expect from each guy. Each guy is pushing each other, and it's no secret. I think we got a great room that's ready to take the next step.
Last thing for you. Over the summer, you get that loose lifestyle. You don't have to be at certain places other than your photo shoots at JCPenney with Gritty and those kind of things. But the rigidity of, okay, I got to be at the rink for practice, for games, for travel, for this, for that. Do you embrace the structure of the season after an off season where maybe you have a little less?
Yeah, I think so. I think the structure comes in back pretty quick once you start training and getting in the swing of things. But Torch is great with us with days off and giving us our bodies the rest we need. And I think we're just excited to play some meaningful hockey here and get it going.
Yeah, summer hockey's overrated. Lutz, thanks for doing this. Best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, there he is. Flyers forward Scott Laughton. Thanks to him for taking the time before the team headed out on their road trip to join us here on Flyers Daily. All right, let's get to, first and foremost, our end-of-season award predictions. So once this season is over, all 82 games are played, and the Flyers wrap up the regular season on April 17th. These are my regular season award winners. Look, we'll talk about the playoffs in just a minute, but these are the regular season. I think the team's MVP will be the same guy that it was last year and the year before. I think it's going to be Travis Konechny once again. I think the injection of Matvei Michkov is going to be a huge factor, but I think it's still going to be undeniable that Konechny is the team's most valuable player. Again, this is all always predicated on health and injuries and all of that. Konechny last year, once again, over 30 goals. He had 33. He had 35 assists, 68 points in 76 games. Over the last 3 seasons, really since Alain Vigneault came, he's basically been close to a point-per-game player. So I think, once again, he is the team's MVP. He will lead them in points. I don't think he'll lead them in goals, but I think he'll lead them in points. And he'll be one of 3 different 30-goal scorers that they have. I think Travis Konechny will score 30 goals this year. I think Owen Tippett will score 30 goals this year. And I think Joel Farabee will score 30 goals this year. That may be a bit of a shock, but I think Farabee gets 30. You'll hear more about that in a moment. All right, as far as the Selke Award winner for the Flyers, the top defensive forward, you can go to Sean Couturier here easily. I think he's going to be put in a situation, he's going to have to defend, especially where he's starting the year, with Travis Konechny on his right side and Matvei Michkov on his left. That line, to me, is going to be more predicated on generating offense. I think that the combination of the line is going to change 1,000 times this year. They always do. But that being said, I think the team's top defensive forward will be Tyson Foerster. And you can be a Selke Award winner as a winger. You don't see it often. Mark Stone won it. He was a winger. You can win it as a winger. Just because you're a winger doesn't mean you can be a player that isn't good defensively. So I think that will end up being Tyson Foerster. Now, when I said the Flyers have 3 30-goal scorers, and one of them was not Tyson Foerster. Foerster last year got to 20 in 77 games, couldn't throw it in an ocean the first third of the season. I think he's a north of 25 guy, but I think his defensive responsibilities and the way he defends in the neutral zone and the D zone will prevent him from knocking on the door of 30 this season. But he'll be the Flyers' Selke Award winner. All said and done last year, through 77 games for Tyson Foerster, 20 goals, 13 assists, and 30 points. Or 33 points. I'd like to see him build up that assist number a little bit more, too, for Foerster. He's going to be playing on a line to start the year with Morgan Frost and Owen Tippett. So they should have opportunities. And when you have a good top line with Couturier, Konechny, and Michkov, that should provide, at times, good matchups for that second line to get something done offensively. So I'll go with Foerster for the Selke. The team's top defenseman, the Norris winner. I actually kind of fretted about this a little bit, but I think the guy that's going to win this is the guy that was on yesterday's episode. I think it's going to be Cam York. He was second on the team last year in block shots. We saw how many minutes he can play. He averaged over 22 last year, 22.37. Over the final 2/3 of the season, he averaged the most minutes of any Flyers player. He ended up with 10 goals, 20 assists, 30 points. And he has shown that maybe there's more there offensively for Cam York, but there is a lot there already defensively. The way he defends off the rush, the way he's willing to block shots, the way he's willing to play the amount of minutes he does and economize his energy. I think he will be the team's top defenseman. So I'll give him the Norris. The Vezina, I think this is easy. This is going to Ersson, barring any unforeseen circumstances. He'll be the team's top goaltender this year, and we'll see what level he can take his game to. Not really a lot of discussion here, but it'll be Ersson. I think the team's, now this isn't an NHL award, The team's most improved player, and this may shock people a little bit. I mentioned him already. I think it's going to be Joel Farabee. Farabee finished last year with a career-high 50 points. He was third in points on the team. He had a career-high 22 goals last year, 28 assists, and he played in all 82 games. He just didn't finish strong. The final quarter of the season, he would have had a 62, 65-point season if he could have maintained through the final third or final quarter of the season. I think he does that this year. And again, I think he scores 30 goals this year. I think that Joel Farabee has a huge year. The other guy I thought about in the most improved category was Bobby Brink. But I'm predicting a very big year for Joel Farabee. I think he's the team's most improved player. As far as the Calder goes, the rookie of the year, I mean, how do you not go with Matvei Michkov? Maybe Jetlachenko stays and gives him a run, but it's going to be Matvei Michkov. I think he's going to have a big year. I think he's going to be right in there for the Calder in the NHL mix as well. It could be between him and Celebrini. Don't overlook Logan Stankoven too. He's technically a rookie. He's a guy that could be in the running for that, for the Calder this season as well. So I will go with Matvei Michkov in that regard. So Konechny is the MVP. Selke is Forster. Norris is York. Thought about Drysdale a little bit here because I think Drysdale might put up some points. The Vezina is Urson. Most improved is Joel Farabee. He'll get 30 goals this year. And Matvei Michkov will be the Calder. All right. Will the Flyers make the playoffs? Now, I talked about this with Bill the other day, that their point total coming into the season, their over-under on points set by Vegas was 89.5. They have since dropped. It is now lower. I'm not sure why it went down, but it did. The point total for the Flyers is now lower than 87.5. I think the Flyers are over that 87.5 number, but right now I don't have them as a playoff team. I am not going to pick them here on October 10th as a team that punches the ticket to the postseason, and here's why. I think that there's still more high-end talent, more pure skill that needs to be added. And we'll see if that gets developed from within, whether that's Morgan Frost, whether that's Owen Tippett taking it to the next level, Tyson Forster, Joel Farabee. And I predicted a big year for Farabee. Obviously, the questions about goaltending. I got to see about the health of Drysdale and the health of Ristolainen, frankly. And then the combination of Ersson, Fedotov, probably Kolosov at some point, maybe McAnemy at some point. I don't know. Sometimes you need 4 goalies. Oftentimes you need 4 goalies. I think the Flyers played 5 last year. So there's going to be some big question marks that need to be filled. I think they're right there at the end. I think they're in the mix into that final week of the season where they play Ottawa, Columbus, and Buffalo. Ottawa and Buffalo. Maybe a team that they're battling with in that final week of the season for a wild card spot. But right now on October 10th, I don't have them there. Now, can they make the playoffs? Yes. Do they need to get off to a good start like they did last season? Yes. I think they'll score more goals, but I wonder if they'll keep pucks out of their net more than they did a year ago. Those are my big questions. So when I look at it, I look at the Metropolitan Division. I go, okay, who's going to win the Metro? I think the Rangers are going to win the Metro again. I think the Rangers win the division. I think the Devils are the number 2 team in the division. Then after that, Carolina probably 3rd, most likely. I don't see the Capitals as a playoff team. I don't see the Penguins as a playoff team. I don't see Columbus as a playoff team. And I don't see the New York Islanders as a playoff team. That means only 3 teams from the Metro would get in. Flyers would have to get one of those wild card spots if it's the Rangers, Devils, and the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, here's the battle that I was talking about with Ottawa and Buffalo. First of all, I don't think Buffalo gets in. So I think that'll be a non-factor. But I think Ottawa has a chance. I think Detroit has a chance. The top 3 teams in the Atlantic Division, in my opinion, are going to be Toronto, number 1. They're going to win the President's Trophy, by the way. It'll be the Florida Panthers, and then the third team will actually be the Tampa Bay Lightning. Boston's going to fall into a wild card spot, and that leaves one more spot that the Flyers will be battling for with these teams. Buffalo, who I don't think will ultimately get it done, Ottawa, and the Detroit Red Wings. Now, all three of those teams, Ottawa, Detroit, and Buffalo, didn't make the playoffs last year, as the Flyers didn't either. That's who they're battling for wild card number 2, in my opinion. Again, I don't have them making it as we sit here on October 10th. I have some questions that need to be answered, but that's who I think they're battling this season for a playoff spot. That's where I think it is. All right, I mentioned I thought the Leafs are going to win the President's Trophy with the best record in the regular season. I think Craig Berube's going to go in there. They're going to be an absolute wagon this season, in the regular season. I think they're going to win more than one series of the playoffs. I think they're going to go to a conference final in the East. I don't think they'll get there to the final, but I think that they will get to a conference final. That'll be progress for the Leafs. As far as who I think is going to be in the final, I'm going to say that in the Stanley Cup final this year, it is going to be the New York Rangers, and they're going to be playing against the Dallas Stars. I know a ton of people are picking Edmonton to not only get to the Cup, but win the Cup. Got to the Cup last year, lost, go back this year and win. Kind of like Florida did. Got there the year before, lost, go back this year, and they won. We'll see if that's the case. I think that Dallas comes out of the West. I think Dallas wins the Cup. They haven't won a Cup since, 99 or 2000? Under Ken Hitchcock and those teams? So I think Dallas is your Cup winner. I think the Rangers get there, but I don't think they win it. But we'll see. Those are my predictions. What say you? Drop them in the comments section below here on YouTube, or you can always shoot me an email, jason.myrtetus, Myrtetus, @gmail.com. You can always send me a DM as well, @JasonMyrt on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now. And tell me what you think. Are the Flyers a playoff team? Do you agree that they're battling Ottawa, Detroit, and Buffalo for the playoff spot? Montreal's not making the playoffs either. I don't think that's a team that can make it in the Atlantic Division. So we'll see where it goes. Tomorrow's game day. The greatest day for people like us, hockey people. The start of a new season. We'll preview the game and much more Friday on a brand new Flyers Daily.